Welcome, everyone. Time is 6 p.m. It's May the 7th, 2025. It's time to call the Board of Zoning Appeals, Franklin, Indiana, to order. Thank you, everyone, for coming back. Those that are here for the second time, we've had some attrition on our board. And so tonight we are going to first rectify that. If I could have Jason Acton and John Kemsky come forward, please, for swearing in.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll just have you both raise your right hand if you would. Do you solemnly swear or affirm you will honorably, faithfully carry out your duties as a member of the City of Franklin Board of Zoning Appeals in accordance with the ordinances of the City of Franklin, laws of the State of Indiana, and the Constitution of the United States, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes. Gentlemen, thank you. Appreciate it. You're sworn at.
Appreciate it. We're sworn at?
You're sworn at. That is correct.
Okay, next we'll need a roll call. Julie, want to take care of the roll call for me?
Jason Acton,
Here.
Joe Bruce, John Kemsky,
Here.
Clinton Alley,
Here.
Bill Carson.
Here. Okay, and do we have a quorum? All right. Moving forward, we'll need to elect some officers at this point in time. We need a chairman, a vice chairman, which I currently occupy, and we'll need a secretary. Do I have any nominations? I'll open the floor now for nominations from the board.
I'd like to make a slate. President Bill Carson, Vice President Clinton Alley, Secretary Joe Bruce.
Thank you. We have a slate nomination. Do we have any other nominations out there? Hearing none, at this time we'll close nominations for officers and we'll proceed to a vote. I think we can vote for this in a slate.
We can? Yes, sir.
And we'll do that now. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Way to go, everyone.
Your pay isn't raised, and there's still no pension, so.
Next up, we'll need to approve the minutes. This one is from January the 8th, 2025. Do we have any omissions or errors that need corrected?
I had to go back and reflect because January seemed some long ago, but
been a
thanks
little
again,
bit.
Julie. I thought they looked good to me. And Jason, for your new members' benefit, you may vote on these even though you were not a member of the board. When they are being presented to you, you're simply voting that these are the official records. It does not mean you are swearing to what actually occurred. So
Good.
you can vote on them if you feel comfortable doing so.
Okay. Okay, hearing no changes being made, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Is that a motion? Oh, did you move?
Motion by Nally,
Okay.
Second.
second by Kemsky. So we'll vote now. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, we'll do swearing in now for anyone who intends to speak on behalf of any of the parties involved, or anyone who would like to speak either for or against any of the proposals tonight. We'll go ahead and have you stand and be sworn in now, and we'll save time later on so we don't have to repeat this, okay? Lynn, would you like to
I will.
swear at him?
I usually don't swear this much, but yeah, if you're thinking about addressing, you can stand if you want. I'd say you hesitate. Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give tonight be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Thank you.
Okay. Any old business out there?
No, sir, no old business.
Okay, moving forward to new business now. ZB 25-1, special exemption and a variance for Franklin Apostolic Church. Mr. Getchell, was this presented in a timely manner?
Yes, sir, it was.
Okay, we're ready for an overview from you.
All right. Okay, ZB 25-1 is a special exception and development standards variance request by Franklin Apostolic Church at 1058 East State Road 144. The property is located between Westview Drive and State Road 144, off of Commons Way. Petitioners are proposing to subdivide this property with two lots and then a third lot for drainage. This is the entire property they're looking at here. The actual property they're going to be looking at for the church, special exception, is the northeasternmost portion of this property, and we'll show that here in a little bit. Like I said, two-lot subdivision with a common area for the detention pond. At this point, the project is entirely conceptual. There hasn't been any subdivision plating completed at this point or site development plans submitted. This is just the initial study of that and what can be done there. So since they are proposing to do a church or other place of worship as it's defined by our zoning ordinance, that requires the special exception request. That would be located on Lot 1. Again, I'll show you the layout here in a minute. Lot 2 at this point is unspecified what the use would be. But for the actual church, they're proposing at full build out that they'd have approximately 300-seat church with 2 full-time employees and then potentially 3 business vehicles stored on site. The initial construction of the church being approximately 7,500 square feet with an additional 5,750 square foot in the future. The property is zoned MXN for mixed-use neighborhood center. In this zoning district, the maximum lot size is 1 acre. In this case, they're actually proposing lots larger than 1 acre. Both lots would be larger than 1 acre, but they are committing to a maximum of no more than 3 acres for either lot. Wouldn't be any more than that. Like I mentioned, the zoning's MXN, Mixed Use Neighborhood Center, and the comprehensive plan calls for this area to be a neighborhood activity center. The specific details of the requests are the special exception to allow a church or other place of worship in the MXN zoning district, and then the development standards variance is to allow 2 lots to exceed the maximum lot area of 1 acre in the MXN zoning district. Petitioner has provided a few exhibits, the first one being their own outline of and answers to the decision criteria that you'll consider. Those are available on your agendas that you can look through and review, both for the special exception and the variances in there as Exhibit A. Exhibit B is that proposed layout that shows the 2 lots in the common area. So the southwestern portion being the common area, the middle lot being Lot 2 or the undetermined use at this point, and then the northern or northeasternmost being the church property or proposed property. On the drawings here, it's actually proposed at 2.4 acres plus or minus is what they need, and then 1.6 acres for Lot 2. Again, their commitment was for no more than 3 acres. I don't think they anticipate varying much from the current design, but just so they wouldn't have to come back to the BZA if it does alter a bit as they get further into the development. They wanted to put that commitment in there to comfort the board there a bit. Otherwise, the request is ready to be heard by the board. I have the decision criteria for both the special exception and the development standards that we can review and have on the screen if need be, but it's ready for the petitioner.
Mr. Chairman, I know that we have new members, and I know you've done your research to be prepared, but just a reminder, in order for us to grant any requests that are here, that's why we have decision criteria that are here. In this particular case, the petitioner, thank you very much, Ms. Smithers, has already presented what they believe supports that in the form of their Exhibit A. She may touch upon it, but unless there's any questions, she can simply refer to that as her support for that, and I'm assuming everybody has read it. So thank you for doing that ahead of time. It makes our job a little easier, so I appreciate that, and I think I neglected to mention that on the way in, because you asked me that question.
Yeah.
You can certainly just refer to that as support of your position.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. Donna Smithers. I'm with North Point Engineering and Surveying. And tonight with me is Pastor Kurt Fuel here, sitting here. We're representing him and the church for everything that Alex greatly outlined. I appreciate that. So basically, everything that he said is perfect, and it is the special use for the church or place of worship. And then, of course, the development standards of us exceeding the 1 acre requirement for the maximum. We, and I spoke with Alex earlier today, we agree with staff's recommendations and their decision criteria for the special exception and for the development standards. So we did submit that information also as part of our application, but reading through and what the staff had provided us, we're all in favor with everything that's been stated and agree with everything on that aspect. Once, if we get approval tonight, then our next steps are, of course, we still have to go through the surveying phase, of surveying the property, getting everything ready for design, and then working with the church on their next steps on how they want to proceed with plating and plans and such. So that's basically it, and if I could address or answer any questions that you might have.
So the property's all owned by the church right now? Is that correct?
They
or-
are, they have an agreement to purchase it, correct?
Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Right, okay.
Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak either for or against the petition? Questions from the board?
I have a question, and my opinion is irrelevant, but just having been here for so long, this property's gone through many iterations, hasn't it, over the course, I mean, other people have tried to develop it, and it's not been successful in any kind of way.
Yeah, we had one, I forget how many years ago now, it's been maybe about 5 years ago, there was a request for this property. It ultimately fell through because they were looking for a large grant.
Oh, that's
and-
right.
And they failed to receive the grant, so they didn't continue with that. As far as I'm aware, that's the last time, or the only time in my tenure here in the last 11, 12 years that,
My recollection was that there was also, at one point in time, somebody wanted to put a golf course out there with that, down
Yeah, I
that
think
hill and
years
stuff.
years
and-
ago, yeah.
I do
Because-
recall that.
Yeah, you recall that, and I guess it goes to your point that maybe we need to look at for different use than what it was, so I thought I remembered this property.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, Alex, we're ready for a staff recommendation.
Sure. Would you like to hear both recommendations at the same time, special exception and development standards? Or,
I think we need to vote on it on two.
We need to vote on them
Says for-
separately, but if you want to.
Separately. So let's do the special exception first.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, so for the special exception use, staff is recommending approval as outlined in the staff report with the conditions A through G. Excuse me. So condition A being special exception approval for a church or other place of worship. Use runs with the petitioner at the subject property. B, the maximum area for the church or other place of worship use is limited to 3 acres. C, a minimum of 100 off-street parking spaces are required to be provided for patrons of the church. For the new members here, whenever a special exception or a use variance is approved, the board is actually required by the zoning ordinance to set the number of parking spaces that are required for that use at the time of the approval. And that's what we're doing here. The number we have presented here is what the ordinance would require. So for that condition C, that reflects what the ordinance would require. For condition D, a maximum of 300 seats are permitted in the church auditorium. This goes back to the parking because they're tied together essentially. The more seats they have, the more parking's required. Due to the size of the site, we're limiting to 300 seats so that they can actually fit all the parking on the site that's required. Condition E, that a minimum of 1 off-street parking space is required to be provided for each employee on site during the largest shift and for each business vehicle stored on site. So this also speaks to the parking again. If they do end up having more employees or situation changes with business vehicles stored on site, that they have enough. I think they've actually currently got design at like 106, I think. I think
Yeah,
it's been like 2 months since I did that report. You were in excess, so I don't think it's
Yeah,
an
we-
issue, but
we are in excess at this time.
yeah, once we
Yes.
get through design, that might change a little bit,
Yeah.
but yeah. And then handicap accessible parking spaces are required in accordance with Article 7, Chapter 10 of the zoning ordinance. And then our standard, all applicable federal, state, county, and local permits and approvals are required, including but not limited to compliance with all building, fire, and health codes.
And I believe I've heard petitioner's representative indicate that those conditions are acceptable.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Very good. Floor is open to motion on special exemption.
Motion to accept.
Subject to the staff's
The
conditions?
staff's condition.
Thank you.
I second.
Motion by Nally, second by Kemsky. We'll move to a vote now. Kemsky,
Yes.
Nally,
Yes.
Acton,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. Motion carries. Move on now, we'll take a staff recommendation for the variance.
Yeah, and then for the development standards variance, staff is again recommending approval as outlined in the staff report with conditions A and B. A being that a minimum of 2 lots plus a common area for drainage are required, and then that the maximum lot size for any one lot is 3 acres.
And I believe petitioner is also agreeable to those conditions, is that correct?
We are.
Thank you.
Okay, floor is open for a motion on the variance.
Motion approved by staff's recommendation.
Motion by Nally,
Second.
second by Acton. We'll move to a vote now. Mr. Kemsky,
Yes.
Mr. Nally,
Yes.
Mr. Acton,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Don, for being prepared. It makes it so much easier to have that all outlined, and they can read it ahead of time, so thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Much
Take care.
appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, if anyone would like to make their way out, now is the opportune time. Or you could stay and listen to another. Next up is ZB 25-2, a variance for Chick-fil-A. Mr. Getchell, was this presented in a timely manner?
Yes, sir, it was.
Okay, we're ready for an overview.
Okay, ZB 25-2 is a developmental standards variance request, actually 2 developmental standards variance requests. For Chick-fil-A, this would be at the northwest corner of Commerce Drive and US 31. We do not have an address for that specific lot yet, but northwest corner of Commerce and 31. It's a subject property there. The actual property Chick-fil-A would occupy would be the area that's kind of highlighted in red there on the north west, or I guess, yeah, northwest corner here. Where the old Aaron's was before and across from McAllister's and the old Kentucky Fried Chicken. Some notes about this project. Again, Chick-fil-A restaurant with a drive-through. It is a permitted use, so there's no question about the use here. This is just some lot standards we're dealing with. This would be part of the Commerce Point subdivision, which is proposed for 6 lots. It's not yet recorded or finalized, that subdivision plat. But they have gone through technical review committee for site development plan at this point. We're still working through some things there, but this is part of that process. Chick-fil-A's new designs all include covered drive-through canopies, both for the ordering and the pickup. This one will be the same. I'll show you the plans here in a minute. On what would be along the north property line for Chick-fil-A, there's a 15-foot side yard setback, and they're requesting to encroach into that by 4.2 feet. So they would still be 10.8 feet from the property line, but the canopy would encroach into that setback by 4.2 feet. The only portion of the canopy that would actually be in the setback would be the horizontal part. It wouldn't be the support posts. Those would be outside of the building setback line. Additionally, this lot is considered a corner lot by our zoning ordinance, and it has 2 front yards by ordinance. The zoning ordinance does not allow accessory structures to be located within a front yard, and a dumpster enclosure is considered to be an accessory structure, so therefore within a front yard. So I'll show that here in just a minute. The zoning is MXC for Mixed Use Community Center, and the property also lies within the Gateway Overlay District. The comprehensive plan calls for this area to be a community activity center. Excuse me. So the details of the actual 2 variance requests, the first one being to allow a drive-through ordering canopy to encroach 4.2 feet into the minimum side yard setback of 15 feet, and to allow an accessory structure or a dumpster enclosure to be located within a front yard area of a corner lot. I'll kind of step into the site plan here because it's difficult to see here, and I knew it would be. So as we get a little bit closer here, the The dark black kind of shaded areas are the canopy, or the canopies. The one on the top would be along the north end of the property. That would be the ordering canopy, and then the one to the west is where you pick up food through the drive-through. Zooming in on that ordering canopy, you can see the proposed setback being 10.8 feet from that property line. And they've called out where that 15-foot setback would be. And then the support pillars would be right where the kind of the dividing line between the two drive-through lanes would be. And then the dumpster enclosure, I should have highlighted this a little better because it's kind of hard to see. But over here on the left side here is where the dumpster enclosure would be. They've added a dimension for us. I thank them for that. I think it says 88.2 feet from the property line, so the front property line on that side, and the actual restaurant would be 142 feet. So even though it's in a front yard, it is still set back almost 90 feet from the right-of-way, which is also set back from the actual road a distance as well. So they as well have provided some exhibits to review. Exhibit B being the building elevations and floor plan. I only added these really here to show the canopy. So this is the ordering canopy, just to show a little bit better where these support posts would be and how they would not be within the area that would be part of that setback variance. Exhibit C added just for reference to show the Commerce Point subdivision plat as it's proposed, and Chick-fil-A's lot being the one on the corner. As well, they've provided an exhibit for the dumpster enclosure. The brick is going to match, and the colors are all going to match the actual main structure of the building. And they as well have provided a write-up of the findings of fact in their determination, and provided that for review as well. Otherwise, these two variance requests are ready to be heard.
Okay, we're ready to hear from the petitioner now. If you would introduce yourself and tell us about your project.
Good evening. My name is Mike Timko. I work with Kimley Horn in Indianapolis. I'm a civil engineer on the project and here on behalf of Chick-fil-A. Alex, thank you for the great introduction. That saved me a lot of talking. But like Alex said, we're here tonight to seek approval for two variances. The first one being the canopy structure encroachment into the side setback. As Alex noted, we feel like we've done what we can to try to limit that encroachment, but just as importantly, did want to note and reiterate that this is only the overhang portion, that the vertical post columns will still be outside of that 15-foot side setback. And for those of you that have frequented Chick-fil-A like I have, you know that that's kind of an integral part of their service because they have staff members actually come out to the vehicles and take the order as opposed to speaking to a menu board. So it really does add a lot to the experience of the Chick-fil-A drive-through. And then the second variance is for the location of the dumpster. And again, with Chick-fil-A's unique model of having a drive-through that wraps around three sides of the building and us being on a corner lot, it really limited where we could land the dumpster and not cause disruption with the flow of traffic. So we did try to maximize its distances from the rights of way, obviously with the priority being a further distance from US 31. So again, we felt like that was the most appropriate location for it. As was referenced, we did provide our justifications for the decision criteria as a part of that. So happy to answer any questions on that. And then we did review and we are in agreement with the staff recommendation and the three conditions that were proposed along with that. So otherwise, happy to answer any questions.
Okay, are there any questions from the board?
Alex, refresh my recollection. I know we have dumpster enclosure requirements. Are they heightened in any way when you're in the overlay district?
No, I
Okay.
don't believe so.
So they're complying with it in terms of structure of our requirement?
Yeah, with them, I didn't even consider that because they're matching the brick of the building, so I don't believe so.
Probably
but
exceeds what's required.
I think it does, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, floor is open for questions from the board. Hearing none, we'll open it to public comment. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak either for or against the petition tonight? Hearing none, we will close now, and we'll move forward to opening the floor for motion.
Would you like staff's recommendation?
Oh, we need a staff recommendation. Let's not skip that. Staff recommendation.
Yes, sir. Staff is recommending approval with 3 conditions as outlined in the staff report. First condition being that the north setback encroachment is limited to a maximum encroachment of 4.2 feet. The only structural encroachment permitted is the horizontal overhead canopy, and the vertical support post for the canopy must be located outside of the minimum 15-foot setback. Second one being that the dumpster enclosure must be constructed of the same brick material and color as the primary structure, and the metal gates, doors, and coping must coordinate with the primary structure design. And C, that gates and doors on the dumpster enclosure must remain closed except when immediate access to the area is required. That is a requirement of the ordinance, but we like to put it in there in the variances.
Sir, are those acceptable to the petitioner?
Yes, they are.
Thank you.
Okay. And now we'll open for action on this. We can take both variances at once, right?
I think you've got 2 different conditions, don't you?
No, they're
Or
all,
you enclosed it?
they're all together.
Okay. It'd help if I could read. How do I put my, okay. Yes, you can do it together then. Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll entertain a motion at this time.
Make a motion to approve with staff's recommendation.
Motion by Nally,
I second.
second by Kemsky. We'll move forward to a vote then. Mr. Kemsky,
Yes.
Mr. Nally,
Yes.
Mr. Acton,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. Motion carries.
You know, I do have another question. Where's our nuggets?
We'll get them here as
It's-
soon as we can.
Okay, because 6:30, it's dinner time. Come on, guys, you can do better than that.
Congratulations, sir. Okay, other business, or is there any other business out there, Mr. Getchell?
No, sir, no other business.
Okay, we'll move forward then to adjournment. Would anyone like to adjourn?